page 91. The seventh day of Adar for Thursday. This chapter discusses, we're continuing, starting chapter 36. We completed chapter 35 yesterday, starting chapter 36 in Likutei Amarim. This chapter discusses the purpose of all existence, God's desire for a dwelling in the lowest realm. Hence, our spiritually dark world is the ultimate arena for the fulfillment of this wish, even more so than higher worlds, meaning he has a greater desire to be here than to be in the higher worlds, for here even darkness can be illuminated with godly light. The lowest realm which God desires as a dwelling place refers to our physical material world, where godliness is most obscure. In the previous chapter, the Alter Rebbe began to explain why the observance of the practical mitzvahs is the ultimate purpose of Torah and of one's spiritual service of God. This practical aspect is underscored by the conclusion of the verse. For the thing is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. He explained that only mitzvahs observed through action draw down the light of the Shekhinah upon one's animal soul and body, rather than upon the divine soul alone, as do the mitzvahs performed only in thought and speech. Yet this does not answer one question satisfactorily. Why is the illumination of the body and animal soul so important that those practical mitzvot which accomplish this illumination should be considered one's primary objective? So we still have to figure out why the illumination of the body and animal soul is so important. והנה מידע זה זמן ברביסינו זיכרון לברך שתכלס בריאת העולם הזה ושניסה והקדוש ברוך הוא לסדיר בתחתינו. In a well-known statement, our rabbis declare that the purpose for which this world was created is that the Holy One, blessed be He, desired to have an abode in the lower realms. Midrash Tanchuma, Parshas Nosei 16. He desired that the essence of Ein Sof light be revealed as it is, without veil or concealment. Amid the lower creations, our sages use the word abode or dwelling place to describe such revelation. Just a man's home serves as an abode for his essence, so too is this world intended to be an abode for God's essence. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to explain the phrase, the lower realms, mentioned above. He shows that this refers specifically to our physical world. When it says lower realms, it specifically speaks about the physical world. But surely before God, in His sight, the distinction of higher and lower is not valid. One world is no higher than another, for He pervades all worlds equally. It's only from the perspective of worlds that one is higher than the other. But for God, they're all the same. From His perspective, to say that God lowered Himself to the world of Atzilus, and then He is lowering Himself even more to the world of Bria. To Him, lowering Himself to Atzilus is also to lower Himself to the world of emanation, it's also beyond measure. It's humbling Himself. Higher and lower is only from our perspective. What then do our sages mean by saying that God desired an abode in the lower realms? Because to Him, higher and lower is not valid. One world is no higher than another. The explanation of the matter, however, is that God desired an abode in the realm considered lower within the ranks of the worlds as follows. So he desired to be in a lower world in the ranks of the world. In the ranks of the world, this world is the lowest. From the perspective of worlds, this is the lowest. So God had a desire to be in the lowest world in our perspective, going into our mind, in the ranks of the worlds. You have Atzilus, Bria, Yitzir, Asiyah, right? Emanation, formation. The world of Atzilus is the world of emanation. The world of Bria is the world of creation, and then Yetzirah, formation, and then the world of action, the lowest one. El Bi'urayin. The explanation of the matter, however, is that God desired an abode in that realm, considered lower within the ranks of the worlds as follows. Before the world, any world was created, there was only He alone, only God Himself, one and unique, filling all the space in which He created the world. Anything that could be conceived of as a space, conceived as space, or possibility for creation, was filled with the Ein Sof light. In His view, this continues to happen. Indeed, it is still the same now. Creation wrought no change in His unity. He is one alone now, just as He was prior to creation. So the change applies only to the recipients of His vivifying force and His light. Before creation, there was none to receive the divine life force and light. There was no vessel to receive it. Creation brought into being these recipients. That's what happened. Creation brought recipients. Receivers. Who receive this life force and light by way of numerous garments which veil and conceal God light, for without such garments they could not bear its intensity and would cease to exist. So it is written, for no man can see me and live. And as our rabbis of blessed memory interpret the word v'choy, it says lo yirani ha'adam v'choy, and live, in this verse as referring to angels, even angels called chayus, holy chayus, cannot see godliness except by way of garments which conceal Him, thereby enabling them to receive His light. So they have to go through concealment also in order for them to see something. God has to conceal Himself so the angels can perceive Him. The degree of concealment varies, however, from world to world and from level to level. Here, the distinction between higher and lower realms becomes valid as the Alter Rebbe continues. What do you mean here? Here in the ranks of the worlds. This concealment is the subject of the Hishtalshelus, the chain-like graded and downward succession of the worlds and their descent from level to level. Through the many garments that conceal the light and the life force emanating from Him, the more concealment, the lower the descent. Culminating in the creation of this physical, gross world. There is nothing lower than this world, He calls it choshech kofel u'mechuper, double and triple darkness. When it comes to the concealment of God's light, what does it mean, double darkness? The highest concealment of God's light is in this world.
But we also had Gan Eden here, which is like,
I'm not talking about the world of action. The world of action, our world right now, in which say souls and bodies. Souls and bodies, it's the highest form of concealment.
Since the Adam and Eve and Hava, right? Adam and Hava. Before that, it was different.
Yeah.
And then when Mashiach comes, it will kind of be restored, I guess.
What is going to be restored in time of Mashiach is the revelation of godliness.
As it was with Adam?
Regardless, this world, from the beginning of times till now, was always the place where there was the highest level of concealment. But as the generations evolved, this generation is obviously the lowest of the lowest, because it says if the previous generation, the Gemara says, were angels, then what we are humans, and if they were humans, we are animals, donkeys, and if we are donkeys, it's not the donkeys of Pinchas ben Yair. Pinchas ben Yair had a donkey that used to keep Shabbos, right? So if you would, he once sold it to someone and the donkey didn't move on Shabbos, so he came to him to complain there's something wrong with the donkey. It says Rabbi Pinchas had to go to the donkey and tell him that it's okay now to work on Shabbos. The point is that generations are obviously descended, and the only reason why this generation is capable of Mashiach, capable for the revelation of Mashiach, or is the generation that is ready for Mashiach. The Rebbe said the last generation for exile, the first generation for redemption. It's because that we are relying and being supported by previous generations. They were the giants, we are the midget, and we are a midget that is stepping on the giant, a midget that is being carried by the giants that preceded us. But he says, Achu mole klippus, referring to this world, it's such type of klippus that actually are going against Hashem, such concealment that is going against Hashem, to such degree that they're saying there is nothing else besides me, meaning denying the existence of God. It is thus clear that the term lowest realms, when we say lowest realms, refers to this physical world, the very lowest in degree of divine revelation. We'll continue, God willing, tomorrow.